right. So Imami, you mentioned the glory of God, right?
Right. Right now.
Okay. So once again, we're going to go to another lengthy passage, and you're going to have to do something to get out of this one too. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 1. You familiar with the prophet?
Just Ezekiel chapter 1.
Okay. So the prophet Ezekiel, he gets the vision of the what is known as the Merkabah, which is the throne room. Yahweh has like two thrones. He has one that's established. Okay, so he sees this vision coming to him out of the north. And we'll start in verse 22 so we don't have to go through the whole thing. It says, over the heads of the living creatures, the likeness of an expanse was spread out. It gleamed like awe-inspiring crystal, and under the expanse, their wings extended one toward another. They each also had two wings covering their bodies, talking about the four cherubim that surrounded the throne. When they moved, I heard the sound of the wings like the roar of a huge torrent, like the tumult of, like the noise of an army. When they stopped, they lowered their wings. Verse 25, a voice came from above the expanse over their heads. When they stopped, they lowered their wings. Something like a throne with the appearance of lapis lazuli was above the expanse over their heads. On the throne, high above, was someone who looked like a human being. From what seemed to be his waist up, I saw a gleam like amber, with what looked like fire enclosing it all around. From what seemed to be his waist down, I also saw what looked like fire. There was a brilliant light all around him. The appearance of the brilliant light all around was like that of a rainbow in a cloud on a rainy day. This was the appearance of the likeness of Yahweh's glory. When I saw it, I fell face down and heard a voice speaking. This was the appearance of the likeness of Yahweh's glory. What was that appearance like? That of a son of man, that of a human being. Go ahead, Imam.
Well, it was interesting. Now I'm Jeremiah, and I didn't read it up to now, but right now I've reached at Jeremiah. I haven't studied the Hezekiel right now, all of the Hezekiel. That's okay. But you know what? In Quran, I want just to tell you my whole understanding of Quran. In the actually what Quran says. What Quran says is that Quran, the issue of Israelites, that they are now distributed all over the world. One of the most important reasons that Quran refers to is that they observed God's miracle, not himself. Okay, not for observing God himself, because anyway, because of his miracles, it caused them become wicked and become unnormal, and that's why they are distributed all over the world. This is the main understanding of me from Quran. Quran wants to tell us this concept, to make us aware of this concept. If some people do not believe in God, they should not try to observe any miracles of God so that they become a believer, because in that case they won't believe in God. They will become confused more, and they will become actually mutated. So Quran forbids people to try to even observe God or even miracle. And it says that miracle causes violence in people. So this is, yes, you say that I try to arrange my mind with Quran while reading Bible. But yes, this is my belief. I believe that God, because of His huge glory, is not observable. And my evidence, I have an evidence. My evidence for that is Israelites. Israelites, because of observing miracle, today are distributed all over the world, and it's a huge issue in the world. But anyway, I do not reject that. I believe in Quran, but this is my exact point. God is not observable. Yes, He is able to show Himself to human, but human does not have the capacity to understand Him, and He will.
Says who? Says who? It seemed like Moses understood Yahweh pretty good. Same with Abraham. Same with Ezekiel. Same with Amos. These are those who all observed Yahweh in the flesh.
You know what?
So let me just debunk another. See, it's real easy for me to debunk your claims, okay, just because of my understanding of the prophets. So I'm going to read Jeremiah chapter 32, and I want everybody just to put this into perspective as to what we just heard Imami say about miracles. Verse 19, it says, the one great in counsel and power. This is chapter 32, verses 19 and following of Jeremiah. The one great in counsel and powerful in action. Your eyes are on all the ways of the children of men, or the sons of Adam, in order to reward each person according to his ways and as the result of his actions. You, Yahweh, perform signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, and still do to this day, both in Israel and among all mankind, or as the Hebrew says, and among all the sons of Adam. You made a name for yourself, as in the case today. So he performs signs and wonders to this day, both in Israel and among the nations, among the Gentiles. So what you just said, I can't buy into that. I can't believe it, because it contradicts what the prophets said. Once again, the title says Islam versus the true prophets.
DL, I can't believe that they call Jesus one of their prophets, and they know absolutely nothing about what he said, did, or taught. I mean, it's got to be a problem with that book that they think, that they esteem so well. Go ahead.
Well, I don't believe that they didn't know. I believe they knew, but they just rejected the message.
I wouldn't argue that with you at all. At all.
I have several verses of Quran in order to actually confirm my point. Of course, I know you know the story of Yhwh that sacrificed what Israelites were supposed to sacrifice. I read several verses. You know, God asked Israelites to sacrifice a heifer, a cow, and they asked them. They said, "Call upon your God to show us which one the heifers look alike to us, and God willing, we will be guided." You know, they asked him several. They asked Moses several questions about its color and something else. He says she is a heifer, neither yoked to plow the earth nor to irrigate the field, sound without blemish. They said, "Now you have brought the truth. So they slew her, though they almost did not. And recall, when you killed a person and disputed in the matter, but God was to expose what you were hiding. We said strike him with part of it, some part of his meat. They strike him. Thus God brings the dead to life, and he shows you his signs that you may understand. Actually, a miracle happens here. And after that, in verse 74, then after that your hearts hardened. Then they were as rocks, or even harder, for there are some rocks from which rivers gush out, and others that splinter, and water comes out from them, and others that sink in the awe of God. God is not unaware of what you do. So this is the, I know that you do not believe it, but this is the Islamic facts actually. The Quran in too many verses denies people to even demand for any miracle, because it says that miracle is not the way to believe in God. And actually,
Okay,
in Quran, the way.
Okay, so can you
my next point.
Can you show me where that ever happened?
Where that happens in the Bible?
Yeah. Where is this situation with this heifer? Where did that happen?
No, I don't. I to be honest, I didn't see that in the Bible. I don't remember.
Right. So it's not there. So how can Allah tell us to remember the situation with the heifer? Once again, I reject that because it's a fictional story that never happened. And second of all, it contradicts what we see in Scripture. Jesus came performing miracles. So did many of the prophets. So that's the reason why those things are stated is because Muhammad performed no miracles. He was actually challenged by the Israelites to perform a miracle. So his only comeback was to contrive some type of argument to claim that Yahweh or God doesn't reveal himself through miracles. But that clearly contradicts what we see in the prophet. So once again, I have warrant for rejecting what the Quran says.
I want to tell you another evidence.
But that wasn't evidence. That's just a prophet coming later, right? Coming up with a claim that people shouldn't pay attention to miracles because it doesn't fully express God, because he never performed any and couldn't perform any.
Okay, a claim. I want to make another claim. My claim is that miracle is dangerous and miracle causes violence. The same thing as happened to Israelites, but in Islam, Quran itself, the book of Quran, I consider that a miracle, and my reason is that it caused too many wars. As you know, after Islam, after Quran came to Arabs, they conquered every nation around them. So it's an evidence for my claim. My claim is that miracle causes evidence, and the way you can recognize whether something is a miracle or not is that you should check whether it causes violence or not to check the miracle itself. As Quran causes too many wars, is because of the miracle, because of its miraculous actually nature. So because of that, there is another issue here. Because of that, the fact that what Quran says is that miracle causes violence, and Quran itself causes violence. But the critics, some people who do not agree with that, because of those violence, they reject it. But they should pay attention that the same thing that is the message of Quran. The effect of miracle is the message of Quran that forbids people to even demand for miracle. And my last point is that in Quran, the way to believe in God is through heart, it's not through mind. It's too many verses says that you should do they not have the heart to believe in God? And God reveals Himself to people's hearts, not to people's minds. Our five feelings cannot bear God, and it will be destroyed. Because of that, it refers to heart. So that's my point.
DL, let me just say before you start on it, you read to him from Revelation chapter 20. The God of this world has blinded the minds. That is the heart of the matter. And this book that he is so in love with has definitely done his due. And I hope he sees the light. I really do. Thank you, DL.
No problem. So I don't see anywhere in the prophets where signs and wonders cause violence. That's new. Never heard that before. I never even heard that from a Muslim before. But once again, I'll have to reject it because it's not anything that I see in the previous prophets. And every matter must be established on the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. Now, Jesus did say that those who see wonders tend to be of an adulterous, wicked and an adulterous generation. But that's those who seek signs.
Yeah, it's evident. When Peter raised the crippled man up, nobody got mad and wanted to kill somebody. And if the blind got to where he could see, it didn't cause, a whole lot of violence. Now, it caused jealousy with some high-ranking, whatever they were, scribes and Pharisees. But no, you're right, DL. Go ahead on, bro.
So, I don't know. We were supposed to be talking about the millennium. As I said, I don't believe that the eschatology or the end time spoken of in the Quran makes any sense. It doesn't fit into the prophetic puzzle, pieced together by the previous prophets. So it's just, it's all fiction to me and just leading people astray. So just make sure that you're part of that first resurrection, because if you're resurrected after that millennial kingdom, that kingdom in which the Quran knows nothing about, it's the lake of fire for you, Imami.